What's up everyone? Welcome to the latest edition of Mail Call, straight out of Japan from our good friends at Megabass here. Super pumped at this spread. We've got a unique selection here of saltwater and freshwater applicable items. You guys can find a lot of these items through our affiliate, the Hookup Tackle in Arizona. Those guys have one of the sickest Megabass setups in all of North America. They carry a lot of these JDM only options from Megabass. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description below. Every time you guys make a purchase through one of those links, it shows them that what we're doing is impactful. That's going to continue to allow us to share with you guys all this crazy content that we've been pumping out across the board. So yeah, let's jump right into this thing. Man, let's start this bad boy off with a bang. Out of everything here on this table, one of the things that I'm most excited about is this bad boy right here. This is a 2018 Megabass Destroyer from the TS series, and this is the TS 711X Blackjack. Now this particular rod is a JDM product only, but it can be ordered through the Hookup Tackle. This is from the same series of rods from our December mail call. This is a 7'11" rod. It's rated for 1/2 ounce to 4 ounce baits, 16 to 30 pound line. Now I'm gonna step a little bit out of the box here with my application on this rod. Initially, I actually feel like it's gonna be a really good hard bait rod for me. Hard baits in that 5 to 6 ounce class, like the ice line. But this thing is so badass. Once again, the attention to detail is absolutely insane. This is towards the upper end of the spectrum here. This is the kind of rod as a kid growing up that I could only dream of owning. See, this isn't just a fancy, expensive rod to show off to you guys. What this rod represents is a lifetime of passion. Since day one, I've worked incredibly hard to make myself a better angler, to continue learning, and leverage that to the position that we're in now. None of this was ever handed to us. Every bait you see here, everything that we've done, we've had to work hard for. And what I'm hoping this conveys to a lot of you guys that feel like this is out of touch, nothing is out of reach. It is possible to work your butt off and leverage yourself into a position in life to where you can afford to buy a TS Destroyer, or that's why this brand resonates so much with us. It fits right in there with our philosophy on how we approach our brand, how we approach our content, how we approach our goals, and wanting only the best. I feel bad for the fish that end up on the business side of this thing. This is like a Hattori Hanzo sword. It's so sick. This is one of the baits that I anticipate throwing on this thing. So once again, we got an iSlide 262T, one of the biggest offerings from the Megabass lineup. Tail comes disconnected from the bait, slides right in to that slot. Feel it nudge in there, and voila. You guys might look at this particular bait, and this is the blue metallic shad, and be like, what is Oliver thinking? Well, let me tell you kind of a funny story about blueback baits. As a kid growing up, the very first hard bait that I ever learned how to fish was a 1/4 ounce rattle trap mini. And there were two basic colors that the OGs at Pudding Stone would throw. It was black and chrome and blue and chrome. Now as a 10, 11, 12-year-old, I used to look at the blue ones and be like, dude, that doesn't look anything remotely natural like to what I see. And for some reason, I always had a weird aversion to anything with a blue back because of that. And it was really my own mental handicap. And through the years, I've watched blue pattern baits absolutely wreck fish. Now I know I'm not the only one that felt that way, because in a lot of the other big baits and swim baits would often come in a blue back pattern. And guys would reluctantly purchase them because they were the only ones available due to their unpopularity. Well, I watch guys like Cool Fish 12 Pounds hang 10s and 11s on blue back baits, like absolutely ugly looking baits. And over time, I've just realized that fish, for some reason, respond really well to that blue color. And I've just had to slowly accept it into my heart. So this is a JDM colorway. You won't find this on any of the standard tackle shops. This is a custom order item only for the most part, but Ben does have them in stock at the hookup tackle. But like I've alluded to, the blue color has really grown on me over the years. But it could represent all kinds of bait fish. Kokanee, trout, gizzard shad, cisco, tullibees. Depending on the bait fish, depending on the water clarity, just depending on the mood of the fish themselves. That blue is a pretty common color in nature. So this is my first one in this color pattern. Pretty stoked on it. Going to be interesting to see how these fish respond to it. All right, let's jump into a couple of new items for 2018, huh? This bad boy right here is a brand new Vibration X Vatalion. Last year, Megabass came out with the full-size Vatalion, which is probably almost 3 times as big as this Vibration X version. Now, what's different about this particular bait is that its build. It's got that Vatalion style body, but with the square, with the shallow cranking bill. With the spring season coming up, sunfish starting to invade the shallows, I can see this bait doing a lot of damage. Now with the bigger Vatalion, I did really well with a couple of suspend strips on the bait and getting the bait to suspend and hitting it, cranking it down, stop and go retrieve, long pauses, in and around cover. So this smaller version should do really well on school size fish. This should be a really good just numbers and fish catching option. But just due to the fact that largemouth, smallmouth, and spots hate sunfish, you've got a potential of getting a big bite at any point. And this is the ghost pattern baby gill. And as you guys can see here with the fireplace in the back, you've got this translucency that allows light to pass through the bait. This is going to be a deadly clear water option. Ghost patterns. You got clear water, high visibility, go with the ghost pattern. Now if you got a little bit more color in the water, you got the old wild gill option here. It's got a little bit more prism on its finish, and of course a little chartreuse on top of its head, a little bit on its tail. It's kind of got that lit up dark male bluegill pattern. And then another thing you guys might have noticed is got 2 different sink rates here. We've got a slow sinking and a slow floating. It's awesome having 2 different options in the same bait here. When I'm fishing a little bit deeper on the column, let's say a deeper set of docks or a deep weed break, I can pick up a slow sink model without too much modification and get it down in the column. But I can also fish it a little bit faster, higher in the column. And then there are times where you really want to focus on stalling your bait in a high percentage zone. If you got yourself a shallow flat or a shallow set of docks and you just want to throw this thing out there and dead stick it, if you just want to throw this thing out there and dead stick it, having a bait that is able to just sit there on the surface and really antagonize a bite is a great option to have. Check this guy out. What I have here is a Megabass Vibration X Smatra. I probably butchered that too. But as you guys notice here on the package, this is a unique 1-knock model. Now why does that matter? Like, aren't all lipless crankbaits the same? Those of you guys that are familiar with fishing different lipless baits already understand the importance that the different sounds can make on the fishing. We've got a sick 1-knock model lipless here from Megabass. 1-knock model Vibration X. How sick is that? So I've always been a fan of these lipless style crankbaits. And now we have another sick option for the Megabass lineup here. There are a lot of times when these fish will respond to that one knock sound versus a bait that's got a lot of rattles or BBs in them, or even the silent models. Guys that fish a lot of topwater understand the importance of a one knock bait like a spook versus something like a vixen that's got a lot of small rattles in it. There are different sounds for different moods of these fish. And I'm pumped to offer them something a little bit different now with this one knock model. And you guys can actually see inside the transparent head of that bait there is that one single balancer ball. It's going to give it a unique sound. So this is going to be important when I'm on a hard bait bite at places like Clear Lake, where I can run a 100-yard stretch of bank and make a pass with a different sounding bait on each subsequent pass and continue to pick off fish that might not have responded to a different sound. Always good to have options. And this is the ever popular metal TNG pattern. Sick bait fish imitation pattern. It's got a little bit of everything, catches a lot of light. Great reaction bait, great for that lift and drop technique. Burning, stop and go, ripping through grass. This bait's gonna get it done right here. Super sick. And once again, yet another option in the Vibration X series. Now this is a Vibration X Micro, and as the sticker indicates, this is a silent version. So once again, we're gonna take a bait that's pretty loud on the first pass. If we start catching fish on, you know, a standard Vibration X that's got like that rattle sound, we're gonna pick off all the aggressive fish on the first pass or two. But now we got a silent option. And that's gonna pick up those fish that aren't quite that aggressive. Fish that are wary, fish that are used to seeing other similar style baits. Super clear water. You might not have enough condition. That's when a silent bait's gonna come into effect. And this little guy is quite a bit smaller in profile to a standard Vibration X here. So I'm gonna pick this bait up in a couple of scenarios. Number one, if the fish are keyed in on a smaller prey species, I'm gonna reach for this. And even though it's small, it's still got quite a bit of substantial weight to it. This is almost a half-ounce bait. This is 3/8 of an ounce. Casts and fishes well on all your standard conventional gear. But also would be pretty sick on that Ronin spinning rod setup, to be honest. And the sunfish patterns just kind of match that body shape really well, in my opinion. This is the eye crop pattern and the standard rattling Vibration X Micro. You guys can hear that. Gives off more of that familiar sound. Super sick eye crop pattern. Delta guys will probably like this one. Clear Lake guys. East Texas. Shoot, Pudding Stone, man. I used to love throwing craw traps back there. Check that bad boy out. I first discovered this bait online and had to order them from some like random website from Japan because I couldn't find it available anywhere. And I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name, but that's what that is. Apparently this is a Japanese saltwater bait fish. Now this is a big bait. This is 108 millimeters, weighs 33 grams. I don't even know what that means, but you know, let's compare that in size to a Vibration X Ultra. Oh man, look at that. So when I get on those lakes where there's bigger shad species, gizzard shad, Cisco's. Oh dude, I just noticed this. Look at that. It's got swiveling hooks. Yes. Why is that important? Fish like stripers, which I was planning on targeting with this bait, they're going to have a much harder time spinning off the hooks. You know, any fish that does a lot of gator rolls when you hook them, I've heard pike and muskie do it. I haven't seen them do it yet from the ones I've caught. But stripers definitely love to gator roll, and they'll twist off using that leverage. When that bait, they'll twist off your lures. Oh, dude, that's so sick. The attention to detail, guys. Rotating hook hangers. I mean, that's about 4 or 5 inches probably. Just that represents a big shad. And I have seen threadfin shad that are up to 6 inches long. So whenever there's big bait fish around, now we got an insane profile to match the hatch, and a bait that they've never seen before. Dude, I need to get back to Lake Fork. And this is a matte clear pattern. So sick. Run down the color selection here for you guys. Up next is a M. Kahata. Much more metallic finish. It's going to catch a lot more light. It's got that bluish tint that we talked about with the eye slide. It's just a really fishy looking color scheme. I'm going to throw this in maybe a little bit dirtier water, low light conditions, anytime I want a little bit more flash. This is a full-on blueback shad right there. That takes me back to memories as a kid, cruising through the aisles of Walmart looking at the blue chrome rattle traps, man. This is just the other end of the spectrum. So sick. Then we got a GG Kahata. This one's got a little bit more of a green turquoise shoulder. And that reflective finish. Black back. I can just picture ripping this thing. Grass beds. This one's gonna hurt some feelings. Oh god. For those real dirty water applications, we got skeleton chartreuse back. This is an interesting pattern because it's still a little translucent, almost ghost patterny, but a pretty solid chartreuse back. Little orange on the eyeballs. A lot of color. When I need a big bait with a lot of presence, I'm probably gonna tie this bad boy on right here. This is a gold chartreuse version. I got real dingy water, tannic water, fishing in a super low light condition, a heavy storm with very little, light on a dark day. If I need those fish to be able to find a bait, I'm reaching for this guy. And I feel like gold is an underutilized color in bass fishing. I've done really well on colors like Kinkuro, on dark overcast skies. Dirty water like at Pudding Stone. I'm tripping out on those swiveling hooks, man. That's gonna be nice. It's hard enough to get bites from the right fish, but it's also important that you hook the fish and that you land them at the end of the day. That's so sick. Then we got the matte finish here. kind of round out the selection. No gloss, no flash. This is a clear water option all day. How can you not just love the artistry in these baits?